When I began in 4th grade a couple weeks ago, my clinical teacher had the students and I play a game so that I could learn their names and get to know them better. My clinical teacher had us play 2 truths and a lie. When it was this particular student's turn, she said that she was good at reading, she brought her lunch to school every day, and that she was good at math. For this project, this student wanted to go by the name of Clarissa. Most students started shouting out that Clarissa's lie was that she was good at math. She shyly expressed that it was in fact her lie. I found it very interesting that most of her peers knew that she didn't find herself very good at math. From that point on, she was stuck in my memory, and that began my interest in learning more about her. Laredo Elementary is part of the Aurora Public School District. It is a Title I school, and there are a total number of 535 students. 98 students are non-English proficient, and 179 students are considered as limited English proficient. 82% of the student body is on free or reduced lunch. It is not exactly known, but the school believes that there are about 25 students that are considered homeless under the McKinney-Vento Act. Also, 8.4% of students are in special education. There are a total of 6 races that are represented throughout Laredo Elementary, the largest percentages being 65% Hispanic, 16.8% are African American, and 7.9% are white. There are after-school programs such as Boy Scouts, Homework Club, Music Club, and Student Government that students are able to participate in. Clarissa has attended Laredo Elementary School since kindergarten, and she has lived in Colorado her entire life. She has 3 sisters that range from the age of 26 years old to 6 years old. Her home language is Spanish, but she is also fluent in English. Both of her parents are from El Salvador. She once visited El Salvador when she was 7 years old. The following is an audio clip of Clarissa talking about her experience when she visited her family in El Salvador. You mentioned you have family in El Salvador, right? Have you always lived in Colorado, or have you lived other places?
I have always been.
You've always been in Colorado, but you have family in El Salvador?
In El Salvador, California, everywhere.
Everywhere? Have you ever visited them?
Only the ones in El Salvador.
Oh, so you have been there? How old were you when you went there?
It was like when I was 7.
Do you remember a lot of it?
A little. I just remember seeing like this ocean that was there. I remember seeing my grandpa. And then we went to go visit the place where my grandma was buried.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Is that your mom's parents? Okay.
And my dad's.
From observing Clarissa throughout the school days, I have found her to be somewhat shy, but when she has free time at lunch and recess, she is very outgoing with her friends. She cares a lot about school and wants to do well. Overall, she is a very caring, intelligent, and funny young girl. Her teachers also agree. The following is an audio clip from both of her teachers describing how Clarissa is as a person. If you had to summarize the student in a phrase or word, how would you describe them?
The first word that comes to mind is caring, because she goes out of her way to help other students, she's just an emotional person, so her emotions are very forward. She will, she's sensitive as well. Mm-hmm. So she's sensitive to other people's emotions, and I think that's a strength. She kind of knows when people need a hug and knows when to give people space.
Summarize Clarissa as being very dedicated and motivated. And I think that her strengths are definitely reading and writing. Some of her weaknesses are with math. And socially, I think that she's pretty strong socially. She's very empathetic. She understands other students. She knows the difference between right and wrong. And there haven't really been any other behavior problems. Sometimes she gets a little off task, but I really think that most kids do.
Clarissa enjoys doing gymnastics. At recess, I often observed her doing cartwheels with friends. She also expressed an interest in science and art. Every day she brings her sketchbook of Barbies that she likes to draw. The following is an audio clip of Clarissa talking about her interests.
I guess I'm really good at art because I have a sketchbook in my backpack where I drawing a bunch of little Barbie doll things.
Really? If you could learn about anything you wanted to, what would you choose to learn about? It could be
Being more flexible, like my
being more
sister,
flexible.
like Fabiola. She's just she's just so good at gymnastics.
Really?
She could do the split. She could put her leg up high. She could do this one thing with her leg like that.
Wow.
And what's it called? She could do this kind of break thing and they do it on the floor like that.
Uh-huh.
And she's just so good at
flexible.
gymnastics.
In my Academically, Clarissa is currently proficient in literacy. In the 3rd grade, she was also proficient in literacy and tested at grade level according to her DRA 2 scores for the 4th grade reading level. She really enjoys reading at home and at school. She is currently reading the book Doll Bones, which is above a 4th grade reading level. Every day, students complete a DLI lesson, which stands for Daily Language Instruction. As you can see from her test scores, Clarissa is normally at an advanced or proficient level for her grade. The following is an audio clip of Clarissa discussing her reading habits. So your favorite activity was music. What do you think you're best at school? What comes easy to you?
Reading.
Reading. Do you like doing a lot of reading outside of school too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the 3rd grade, Clarissa was partially proficient in math. Clarissa is working hard at math this year. However, as mentioned before, Clarissa believes that she is not very smart when it comes to math. When I was interviewing her, it was evident that she had a fixed mindset about her ability to do well in math. The following is a clip about Clarissa explaining her struggles with math. What do you think is your least favorite subject? Or if you have one?
Math.
Math? Why math?
Because I'm not good at math.
Why do you think you're not good at math?
Because on the TCAP for math, I got a PP, and I'm always getting bad grades on math, so that's my least favorite.
Is there a certain part of math that you don't like multiplication or fractions?
Fractions.
What are some strengths or weaknesses academically, and then anything socially you can think of?
So I believe that her strength academically is in reading and writing. I think she's pretty strong in that area. She struggles a little bit with math. So she is currently proficient, but it's a low proficient. She's a student who needs repeated instruction and multiple opportunities to practice. She doesn't just learn it, pick it up, and run with it. So I see her having some challenges. So if I had a typical student, I think that a typical student would have a challenge in a certain area. Not everyone's amazing at everything. So her area of challenge, I think, is math. Because she still has the effort and focus that she puts into reading, but she doesn't have the same results.
What stands out for me with Clarissa is that she's always kind of thinking about what she's learning. So like she'll make connections to things that we've learned in other lessons, or connections between reading and writing, connections just in all of the things that she's learning, which really shows me that she's always thinking about things. And any supports that the supports that I think that she would need, or if I could do anything for her, it would be to, have projects for her to work on to further her learning, because she is curious and I think likes to find information out about things that she's interested in.
From observing and interviewing Clarissa, I found that she works best alone because she is able to stay focused longer and stay on task. Both Clarissa and her teachers agree with my finding. The following are audio clips of first Clarissa talking about how she thinks she works best, and following that are how her teachers feel she learns. Do you like to work by yourself normally, or would you rather work in a large group, a small group, one partner?
No,
Or do you not really care?
by myself.
You like to work by yourself? How come?
I don't know, because whenever I'm like by myself, I get more focused and I'm on task more.
It's silly, especially in the afternoons. So when I have her in the morning, she's a different student. She's like ready to sit up and listen and learn. She complains in the afternoon. She rolls around on the floor. My back hurts. I don't want to sit up.
Yeah.
She chats with someone next to her. She fiddles. I mean, she's a great kid and a great student. So when I'm like, Clarissa, sit up, she will.
Mm-hmm.
Or please stop talking, she will. Or she'll say, I'm sorry. But she does as the day goes on, I think. And then since math is her challenge area, that it's the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just not situated well, which is why I'm so glad we switch every month for kids like her, because in the morning she does a lot better. And maybe she does have back problems or something, because she's complained to me multiple times about it hurts to sit on the floor.
Oh, okay. How do you think she learns the best? Whether it's like whole group, individually, small group?
I think she needs all of the above. So I think she needs the whole group. I think she's listening and taking it in. I think she needs repeated instruction in a small group. And I think she needs more opportunities than a typical kid to practice with it. So if a typical kid's going to do a subtraction algorithm 7 times and get it, she might need 12 times.
Okay.
She just needs the immediate feedback. So looking at her work and checking in with her each day based on the improvements, I think is what helps her. You know, sometimes you collect something and then a week later you get around to looking at it and it's like, oh shoot, it's not going to be meaningful to the kids when I go tell, like, hey Clarissa, come chat with me. So usually I'll look at their daily data and pull her into a small group.
Learns best in a variety of environments. I mean, she takes things in whole group. She definitely works well independently and one-on-one, and she can do great group work as well. But she would probably be the leader of that group.
From the notes that I gathered, I formed a lesson plan that centered on having a growth mindset and what that looks like compared to a fixed mindset. The second part of the lesson was focused on fractions. While interviewing Clarissa, I found that she had a hobby of collecting Monopoly money. So for the fraction aspect of the lesson, I used Monopoly money as a manipulative for her to use. To begin the lesson, I gave Clarissa a handout about growth versus fixed mindset. I told her that there was no right or wrong answer, but that I wanted to know how she viewed herself. I had her complete it independently, and then we discussed it together. Once she was done, I asked her if she had ever heard of a growth versus fixed mindset, and her answer was no. Based off of her answers, I could tell that she knew she was smart and that you can always grow as a person. However, she still felt like she would never get better at math. I then showed her a YouTube video that my site professor found that is called The Power of Yet from Sesame Street. The message of the video is that if you find yourself struggling with a task or subject, it doesn't mean that you will never be good at it, but that you aren't just good at it yet, with the emphasis on the yet part. After going over the growth mindset, I told her that we were going to move on to Monopoly fractions while keeping the growth mindset in mind. She was very excited about the Monopoly money, and I told her that when I don't like a particular subject, I try to make it fun and about me. Clarissa seemed eager to start the worksheet. What you can see on your screen is a picture of the Monopoly fractions worksheet. Clarissa struggled at first dividing out the money equally into cups, but through my prompting, she was able to figure it out. On the second page of the Monopoly fractions worksheet, Clarissa was able to remember what she had done before on page 1 and was able to answer the cup question easily. We worked through the second page together. At the end of the lesson, we had a discussion about what she found easy and difficult about it. She said that using the Monopoly money made fractions easier because it was something that she was interested in. I told her that she could take the cups and the Monopoly money home with her so that when she has fraction homework problems, she can use the Monopoly money as a resource and tool. Overall, I feel that Clarissa learned what was expected. From interviewing her, I know that she often compared herself to her sisters, and I really wanted to educate her on the growth mindset and how it can help you lead a less stressful life. I feel that Clarissa understood the concept of growth mindset, and she also expressed to me that she was going to tell her sisters about it as well. After discussing with her in the closing of the lesson, she seemed more confident in the fractions unit. She expressed that she was happy that I made the lesson about something that she needed help with. One challenge I found from this experience was that I was not in the classroom when my clinical teacher first introduced fractions to the class. I would have liked to have been there to observe Clarissa's behavior and attitude on the upcoming unit of fractions. However, from this activity, I feel that I grew in my ability to learn about learners. Having to form interview questions was essential to this because I had to think about what questions would really provide me with the answers that I needed in order to make the most out of Clarissa's learning. Speaking with both of her teachers was also helpful since they have been working with her since the beginning of the school year. It helped me interpret the kind of support that Clarissa needed the most.